What's up, everyone? Welcome to This Day in Philly Sports History for September 17th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the podcast. I was going to go a little bit out of order today. However, we certainly need a little bit of positivity today. And today's quote comes from Mark Manson. He is the author of the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, among other books, which is actually a pretty good book. But the quote is, "Nothing meaningful in life is easy, and nothing easy in life is meaningful." And that is so true on every level. It definitely feels that way to be an Eagles fan right now. More on that in a minute. But whether you're talking about parenting, your work, a weight loss or a health goal, following your dreams in a hobby, whether it be a podcast, running a marathon, whatever it is, it's always easy to do the easy thing and then complain that things aren't happening. But nothing meaningful in life is easy. And I think it helps you appreciate the things too when you really work hard and know that you're doing the difficult thing. Again, like between work and money. And if you really look at it, all of people out there, a lot of times that come from money, the quote unquote rich kids, tend to have like a different attitude or mindset than more working class people who actually have had to work for everything. So like those people that never had to work tend to just have don't have the mental makeup that the people that work hard for things go. I look at like school loans, and like when I was in school, you could tell the people whose parents were paying for them to go to school versus the people who were actually paying their own loans. Me being one of the people who were paying for my own loans, like I busted my ass to get out of school in 4 years to not have a ton of debt, where it's the people whose parents were paying were the ones that missed class and took 6-7 years sometimes to graduate. So nothing meaningful in life is easy. Nothing easy in life is meaningful. And again, that is so true and so profound on so many levels. Hopefully you can kind of keep that in mind when things get tough and it seems like you want to give up. Just know that nothing meaningful in life is easy, and nothing easy in life is meaningful. And that comes from Mark Manson, the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. All right, be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mon at Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, spread the word. Let's continue to grow this thing despite the fact that the Eagles are a terrible football team. And then go check out my boys over the Clashing Conferences podcast. That is available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. Great things happening over there for both baseball and football. And then go to Philly Goat, do some shopping. Flyer season is right around the corner. Sixer season won't be far away. Get yourself geared up. Get ready for Red October. And go to Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. All right, so let's start with this game now. 22-21. And plenty of blame to go around. Obviously, we lost our bet. We're 1-1 now on the season. The cover was there. The defense just couldn't do anything. But so much to dive into with this, and I have not even looked at the newspaper or anything. This is just notes I put on my phone on the subway ride home last night. And I guess let's start with the three keys to the game. Taking care of the ball. For the most part, they did a good job taking care of the ball. The last interception came on that last drive. It wasn't a very good throw, but, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you need to make that throw there, throw it away, and live to fight another down, especially since you only needed maybe 20 yards to get into field goal range. But the offense certainly missed AJ yesterday, and he's apparently going to be out for another couple weeks, so it's up to Kellen Moore to try to figure this thing out. Dallas Goedert really was not a factor. 3 catches for 38 yards. That was one of the keys. Jahan Dotson, where was he at? Britt Covey should not be getting 6 catches. Whatever. Okay, whatever. Saquon was okay. He did miss the catch at the end. I'll get more on that in a minute. But to me, the biggest concern was Kirk Cousins. There was zero pass rush. I think the secondary, for the most part, until that last drive, did a decent job covering and shutting things down. They had zero pass rush, literally zero pass rush. Every time he dropped back, he had a clean pocket. And the one sack, if I remember correctly, was Milton Williams, but I think that came on a coverage when Cousins tried to kind of take off and step up in the pocket, but it was non-existent. I could have stood back there and picked apart the Eagles' defense with the time that Kirk Cousins had. And I get that the Falcons have an okay offensive line, but that is just pathetic. So, I mean, the keys to the game, they didn't hit on 2 out of the 3, and even taking care of the ball, you didn't need to have an interception there. It was a forced throw, and you have to be better than that. I think a lot is going to be made about not only the decision to go for or do a third down pass there, but also Saquon not catching it. Should he have caught that? Absolutely. Should it have come down to that catch? No. Like, that game was lost long before then. That game was lost as soon as they stepped on the field and could not get any pass rush on Kirk Cousins. I don't necessarily have an issue with the play call. I know some people are like, why don't you run it and run down some more clock? I guess my thinking is, if you're going to pass there, why not go for it? And, I mean, well, we know why you don't go for it there, because look at the defense. But I don't have any problem with a lot of it. I think, I don't know, maybe the earlier in the game, like, it would have been better to maybe go for one of those. I don't know. Like, you can put it. I mean, a lot of people are going to be blaming Sirianni today, I'm sure, but I mean, that's a Kellen Moore play call there. So I mean, it was third down, so that's not necessarily on Sirianni. The decision, you could go either way. I mean, you put the points on that, you force them to get a touchdown. I'm okay with it. I probably would have gone for it. But, I mean, you can't argue. I mean, you got to expect your defense not to let Kirk Cousins drive down the field in like 5 plays or 6 plays, whatever it was. So, I haven't read anything. I'm sure Sirianni's probably going to be getting ripped for decision-making and things like that. I mean, it wouldn't have been what I would have done, but hey. I mean, I'm sure the analytic people are going to be like, well, the percentage. But, like, to me, you have to, like, the way the game was going, for the most part, neither offense was doing much. You put the points on the board, and they have to go down, drive down, score a touchdown to beat you. Unfortunately, they did. But I mean, if you want to get nitpicky on that, I mean, you could question the play call, the pass. Why didn't Saquon catch it? But at the end of the day, your defense lost you this game in more ways than one. And, I mean, I take that last drive aside, the defense, it was zero pressure on Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that you're getting nothing. And the only person I saw actually out there doing something, and, again, I got to go back, watch some tape, and read up and see, but it seemed as though Jalen Carter was the only one getting any type of kind of semi-pressure. I mean, it's not like he was lights out, because Kirk Cousins had all day to throw. Missed golden opportunity for the Eagles with the way the rest of the NFC. Unfortunately, I don't even see them as an elite team right now. The way, like, that was just, I don't necessarily, I don't see it. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think this team is a lot worse than what we think they are. They can't do anything without AJ, who's going to be out at least another week, it seems, if not more. It's bad. And I guess you could say Jalen didn't play that bad. He ran more, and I don't know whether some of that was out of necessity or the fact that design play call is something they were trying to do. They saw something in the defense, but I don't know. Just frustrating. They might get blown out by the Saints next week. I mean, I hate, like, that's definitely probably an overreaction, but the Saints could blow them out. Alvin Kamara could have 300 yards. It's going to be ugly. So the GOAT of the game is the defensive line, like no pressure. And I know some people walking out yesterday were talking about Hassan Reddick, but I mean, Hassan Reddick is not going to, I mean, really, anybody could double team. Say you had Hassan Reddick on this team, you double team him, and nobody else is still able to get anything. I don't know why Vic Fangio didn't call up more blitzes. Like it's perplexing to me that there was absolutely zero pressure on Kirk Cousins the entire day. But we move on. I'll have more on this game as the week goes, and I have a chance to kind of really dive in and make sure what I saw is confirm, I guess, what I saw. I also want to say a horrible job by the Eagles too on as an organization for the whole Nick Foles thing. And it could be on me, but I was not the only one in the crowd that was expecting a halftime sort of retirement ceremony for Nick. I guess they did it before the game and allowed him to be the captain. Shame on you guys for not doing that. I've seen them do it for Randall. I've seen them do it for, obviously, with Donovan and Brian Dawkins with retirement of the number. But like Randall had some, a couple of the guys have come back and they've done a halftime ceremony. And to not do anything but do it like as a press conference before the game after we were all, and like I said, I was not the only one. It's frustrating that I wasted a day off of work, PTO time. I'm missing meetings in King of Prussia because I wanted to see the Nick Foles retirement ceremony, and we didn't get that. So, not whatever. I mean, honestly, who cares? It's just that's how frustrated I am with that team. And like I said, I don't think they're that good. I don't think they're that good. And I think the team you saw near the end of last year is probably, unfortunately, more in line with who this team is. I mean, you can't. I'm not going to sit here and put the blame on Jalen or Sirianni, but I'm sure the two of them are going to get a lot of heat for that. But your coordinators didn't do a good job. They were very inconsistent, I thought, with the play calling and just. And I won't even say Fangio was inconsistent. Like I don't know. I'll look at it. Get more on it tomorrow, but that leads us to the question of the day. Now that we know that AJ is going to miss at least one more game, if possibly multiple games, what's a bigger concern for this team, the pass rush or the offense without AJ Brown? 267-495-8531 will get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line, but I think it's the defensive line. No pressure. But let me know what you think. 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line. Let me know. The offense without A.J. Brown or the defensive line, what is a bigger concern heading into the Saints game? Moving on. The Phillies weren't that much better. 7 guys left on base, 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. It happens. We keep saying, like, every now and then they have games like this. That it seems to be their MO. They lose the first game of a series. I guess Ranger looked okay. Nothing spectacular, but better than what he was in his previous game. Still 8 games up on the Mets, 3 up on the Brewers, and still 1 game up on the Dodgers. Magic number still sits at 3 to win the division, 3 to clinch a playoff spot. They're back at it tonight. Zach Wheeler on the mound as the Phillies look to even that series with Milwaukee. All right, well, the fact that the Eagles game was so brutal last night is really taking some of the luster off of this one today because this is one of my all-time favorite Eagles memories. Excuse me, but on this day in 1989, the Eagles beat Washington 42-37 in a game where defense was optional. Again, one of my all-time favorite games, favorite memories. I vividly remember watching this game. Eagles went down 20-7 after the first quarter and were down 30-14 at halftime. And then Randall took over, threw 4 touchdown passes in the second half to lead the comeback. 2 to Keith Jackson, who had 3 on the day, 1 to Chris Carter, and 1 to Mike Quick. It still almost wasn't enough, though. They got it to within 37-35, and then Gerald Riggs, who had 221 yards, which is a Washington team record and a career high for him, ran down the right sideline 58 yards. And the Eagles had no timeouts, and it was just a matter of them running out the clock at that point. However, 3 plays later, he fumbled, not necessarily known for being a fumbler. Al Harris picked up the fumble recovery, handed it off to Wes Hopkins, who took it back down the sideline to the Washington 4. Next play, Cunningham to Keith Jackson. Eagles win 42-37, start the season 2-0. Randall Cunningham with his career high that day with 447 yards on 34 for 46 passing, 5 touchdowns, which is also a career high. For those keeping score at home, the Eagles' team record for passing yards, he did set it at the time, but now it's 471 yards. Nick Foles set that in 2018 versus the Texans. And then we all know about the 7 touchdown passes against the Raiders. Randall, though, did this all the same day. He signed a 5-year, $15 million contract extension, signed it before the game. And to me, Randall, I've said it before, I feel he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Numbers-wise, he falls just short. However, for revolutionizing the game, we don't have today's game if it's not for Randall Cunningham. There's no Mike Vick. There's no Steve McNair. There is no Donovan McNabb, who leads into Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and the quarterbacks of today. They don't exist without Randall. So put the man in the Hall of Fame as an innovator. Do it and do the right thing. But on this day in 1989, Eagles beat Washington 42-37 in a ridiculous game that they came from behind in the second half, almost lost it, and then the defense came up big when they needed it, unlike yesterday's Eagles team. And that happened in 1989. All right, since I'm already fired up, today's Philly sports villain is Carson Wentz. I will preface this with, we don't go to the Super Bowl and win it without Carson Wentz. So we'll put that out there just as a thing. We don't do it. However, he was injury prone, and that's not why he's the villain, though. He's not a villain because he's injury prone. Because, I don't know, like, he had the makings of a good quarterback. Like, he was the MVP before he got hurt in 2017. Kind of struggled through 2018. 2019, he played in every game, threw for 4,000 yards, and then got hurt on a cheap shot in the playoff game. But Carson Wentz is a villain because of what happened in 2020. They drafted Jalen Hurts, and he just completely fell apart. I think it was the first time he ever really had any type of competition, and he didn't handle it. Then reports came out that he wasn't a good locker room leader. He had a weak. I feel like he had a weak character. He just wasn't a strong-willed person. Goes back to today's quote: nothing meaningful in life is easy. And Carson Wentz wanted it to be easy, but he got a little bit of pressure and didn't play well. And we saw what happened. And truthfully, and I know there was a lot of people that stuck up for him, but look what he did after he left. Not a whole lot of anything. And some of the same issues that dogged him in Philly were dogging him in Washington and Indianapolis. So thank you for 2017, but you are a villain. And I guess you could kind of put Carson Wentz in the same category as Adam Eaton, because Adam Eaton led to Joe Blanton. I don't know, after last night, I don't know if you want this, but Carson Wentz being weak-minded led us to Jalen Hurts, which did get us to a Super Bowl. But we'll see. I don't know. But today's Philly sports villain is Carson Wentz. I'm just pissed off. Absolutely pissed off. On this day in 1989, Eagles beat Washington 42-37 in a comeback, a game they trailed 30-14 at halftime. Randall with a career high 447 yards and 5 touchdowns. Probably his best. He had a couple decent games in Minnesota, but this was by far his best day as a professional. Phillies look to even up the series in Milwaukee. We'll have more on the Eagles tomorrow, but let me know. Who are you more worried about? The offense without A.J. Brown or the defensive pass rush? I think it's got to be the pass rush. Like I said, Alvin Kamara could have 300 yards against the Eagles the way they played yesterday. And if they do come out and play that way, it's going to be ugly. I don't know. So give me your thoughts on the game, whatever you want. Just therapeutic. Get it off your chest and feel better. Remember, nothing meaningful in life is easy. Nothing easy in life is meaningful. Hopefully you can get some sort of positivity out of that today. But this has been This Day in Philly Sports History for September 17th, 2024. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go try to have yourselves a Tuesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.